Lovelies, my name is Jessica and welcome to Makeup Misfit, and I have my first update for Pan That Face palette for this year and I am so excited about it. So last month in the intro, I rolled in my Sigma Berry Glow Blush and Highlight Duo. I really wanted to get some use on this because it was just kind of hanging out in my collection. I had used it a couple of times before pulling it in, but definitely nothing to feel like I was going to make any progress anytime soon. But I was using this pretty much on a daily basis. Now, I had talked about how my MAC and Jeremy Scott blush has been my focus blush, and that is what I've mainly been using. But on the off days, I would reach for this blush in here. But the highlight I used on basically a daily basis. There was a couple days here and there I would reach for something else, but this highlight was like my main highlight for the last month or so. So with the amount of usage that this palette has had, I am very happy with the progress that has been showing. So before I zoom this in, you can see that there's quite a nice amount of a dip going on in there. But there it is. I hit pan just a couple of days ago, actually. So I haven't used the highlighter since, but I have reached for the blush, which we will chat about in just a second. But this highlight, I was getting so close to it, and I knew that it was going to happen sooner than later. And by the time I realized that, it only took another 2 days, 2 uses, and I had hit pan. So I haven't reached for the highlighter since. I did think about using it today, but I decided to wear something else, which we might be chatting about in just a minute. So I haven't reached for the highlighter, but that was like what I wore. I would kind of pair it with one of my Bitter Lace Beauty highlighters the odd time, but for the most part, that's the only highlighter that I actually reached for. So I'm so excited to see that it has pan in it. Even if it's been pretty much daily use, I think that a month is pretty good. Now, a part of me wanted to try and see how much more pan I could expand before I updated this, but it probably wouldn't have been much. It would have only been a couple of days, and I'm not ready to try and finish it up just yet. So for the blush, I've only used it the odd time throughout this month because, like I said, my MAC blush was the focus, but you can see where my brush was, and a little bit of the M and the A in Sigma has been slightly worn off, and I'm happy with that. I'm wearing this blush today. I believe I wore it yesterday, and I am just excited to at least see that much progress in it, considering it wasn't my main focus for this month. Now, as much as I would love to continue using this, like I said, I'm not ready to see this highlighter completely finished just yet. So I am going to put this palette away and I am going to bring something else in place of it. Now, what I'm going to bring in place, I was debating between this and another palette, which I have not used for a very long time. Debating between the two, I thought that maybe this palette I could pull into other projects and try and get some use on it that way. But I really don't think I would actually end up doing that. And I think that this project would probably be the best way for me to really focus in and get some use on this palette. So what I have decided to pull in for the next little bit, and again, who knows how the progress is going to go. I can roll this out at any point if it's next month, 3 or 4 months from now, or I can keep this in for the rest of the year. It just kind of depends on how I'm feeling about the palette at the time and if I'm ready to kind of move on to something else. I would like to completely pan a palette this year, but I don't know if that's going to happen, and that's okay if it doesn't. As long as I'm hitting some sort of pans and making really good progress in my face palettes, I'm going to be happy this year. We'll chat about what might happen next year later on. So the palette that I am choosing to pull in for for this project right now is my Solmane highlighting palette from Unzai. Now, this palette I briefly mentioned in Pan That Face palette last year because I said that in a very, very small little way, it kind of reminded me of my Luminizer Squad highlighting palette, which is what my focus was for the first half of this project last year. I abandoned that palette. Wow, words can't come to my mouth right now. I abandoned that palette, and that's when I started switching off the palettes that I was using, every couple of months or so. But the only reason why it vaguely reminded me of it was kind of because of the colors. You had the pink shade in there, you had a yellow shade, you had a purple shade, and you had your champagne shade. That is literally it. There is no other comparisons between the two palettes, but it was just kind of the colors And when I looked at them side by side, I just thought it was kind of funny and kind of cute, I guess. So I thought that this would be kind of a cute palette to pull in for that reason as well, because it's like a step up from the Luminizer palette. Not that they're similar, but again, it was more so just the shades, the colors. And what I really like about these ones is these are like, they've got a shift to them where obviously the Balm ones didn't. But I think they're just fun. So yesterday I wore this one. Today I am wearing this one. I wanted to just test them out, see if I still enjoyed them. I have no idea how I'm going to feel about the two of these. And honestly, they may not even get any use. It's only January. So if I decide to keep this palette in here for a while, these may be shades that I reach for in the summertime. We'll just have to see how I'm feeling about this and how it goes, but I think that these two are going to be my main focus, and honestly, it might even be this shade right up here, but I don't want to pre-step myself anything. I just want to use it and see how much I actually enjoy it. I would like to hit pan in something before I decide to roll it out, so we're going to see how long that takes. Again, if for some reason I'm feeling like it's just not the palette for me right now, then I will roll it out and pull something in whenever I feel. But I would like to keep this in here for a little bit and try and get as much use on these two as I can. If I can hit pan in both, then hey, it's a bonus and I will take it. But my goal is to at least try and hit pan in one of them, and then take it from there. So yes, I know I already have a couple highlighters that I rolled into projects. So I could have done this with this palette, but I feel like I probably wouldn't have as much, and I can really take my time with this one because if it's in here all year, I'm fine with that, and just focus in on this. The other one was a blush palette, so there is a chance that I might pull that palette, like a shade from that palette into one project, and then maybe a shade from that, another shade from that palette into another project. Or maybe I'll pull that one in after this one. We'll have to see. I'm not sure what I want to do. But I am excited about actually pulling it into this highlighting palette into this project right now, because I am excited to get some really good use on those two shades. And I think that I definitely can. I'm going to hit my goals on the other highlighters, and I don't know if I'm going to kind of like rotate or focus on those, get that out, and then work on this. We'll see how I feel. But I'm really excited about it regardless. So I hope that you guys are as well, and that you think I made a good choice with this palette. If you've ever used this before, this was sent to me in the mystery box that I purchased from them. I've only ever gotten one mystery box in my life because I always thought that like I was always going to get products that I wasn't happy about, more so like brushes and lip products. And I did get a single brush, but I actually don't mind it. I do like it. I don't use it very often much anymore, but I was reaching for it a lot when I first got it. I got this palette and then I got a single blush. So I was happy with this mystery box. However, I have not purchased one since, and that's fine. But if any of you have used that palette before, let me know what you think of it. Let me know which shade is your favorite, and we can chat down below. So that is everything. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I will see you all later. Bye.